I see this Monarch ad all the time where they're like, I'll buy your lunch if you can tell me how many subscriptions you currently pay for. And the people never know. Well, I'll buy you lunch right now if you know what offer is making you the most money in your business, which one's making you the most tired, and where your traffic is actually coming from.
That's a solid challenge right there.
I could say, some people have simple businesses, but the more complex offers you get, I think it's harder to kind of keep track of all of these items because your data is scattered across
Yeah.
all these different tools. Right now, I'm working on with one of my dietitians to build her a dashboard that brings all her data together because we were having to go to the podcast, look for this, and Instagram to
Mhm.
look for this, and practice better to find that. So without intentionality around it, getting a really good read on how your business is doing, what's making money, what's not making money, what's giving you return on investment, what's completely waste of your time is super hard. So today we're going to hopefully fix that for you. We're going to walk you through 3 audits that I would recommend you kind of do at least once or twice a year, ideally every single quarter, so you can
Yeah.
see what's actually working and where the opportunity to move your business forward is.
Yep. So welcome back to another episode of Growing a Deeply Rooted Business podcast. I'm Rachel, your marketing ecosystem strategist, and I'm here with Jess, our sustainable systems growth guru. And honestly, this is Jess's zone of genius. This is one of the things that I look to Jess for. We also collab very well on this because when it comes to planning, our brains live in these two different worlds. So really it's a beautiful blend here. But before we jump in, we're going to do a quick energy check. I have had clients tell me, I just can't with the numbers. Could you not? And I'm that person when it comes to math. If you start pretending to do mental math, I'm just going to pretend with you and wait until you come with an answer. But we're not doing that here. We are going to reframe before we start with the fact that your data is not a report card. It is a map, it is a guide. And ultimately, whatever you discover in this process of these audits, we don't know. We're not going to grade you. It's not up to us to judge where your traffic flow is coming in for or where you're not getting any traffic flow. So if you're here, we just want to show you what's already killing it in your business, what needs attention, and ultimately help you just kind of stop guessing. So that's what this episode is for.
Yeah, and this is actually the first episode of a 3-part mid-year reset series that we're doing. So make sure you stick around. Today is one of my favorite parts, which is the assess, right? You can't move forward unless you reflect. So let's get into it. The first thing that you should be reflecting on are your clients and doing a client audit. So this is where you're going to look at the people that you actually served and try to pull out common denominators with them. What were some common problems that they came in here with? What are some common things that you did for them? What are some attribute traits that makes this client your best fit client for you? And what are the ones that maybe are worst fit? Reflecting back on their discovery call or intake form, were there any red flags that could have set you off to that this wasn't going to be a right fit for you? And then you're also going to want to look at where did they come from. So it's also kind of working into traffic source, which we'll get into later, but you want to know where they're coming from and just kind of see the overall view of your clients and get a good read on who they are and what they are. This is not only going to help you with creating specific offers for them, but also pulling out those specific pain points and transformational desires so that you can use that into your marketing.
Yeah, and the way that this amplifies effort on a marketing side is that if you can talk more specifically to these people who are the most fit, the ones that you want to work with the most, they are actually ready to make that buying decision. You can weed out the leads that come into those discovery calls and start picking at your budget or at your deliverables and all of those area things. So we want to look at kind of these overlaps of the most aligned and then start honing in on, like Jess said, those transformations, those desire points, and work that into all of the other points. And then also this gives you a lot of visibility into a very common problem where some people end up being just a referral business, right? So you're maybe putting, and again, we'll get into this in the traffic audit, but you may be putting so much time and effort into marketing on social media or all of these other areas. But when you're looking at it, you go, okay, these 6 most aligned clients came in from referrals, and these other ones came in and they were the least aligned. It gives you a lot of that awareness that helps you make decisions better moving forward than being like, well, I'm going to keep spending 15 hours a week cranking out these social posts so that I can keep talking to these unaligned people that are wasting my time, or you can pivot in a more intentional manner.
Yeah. And I've got to throw in my little AI hacks here, but one of the things that I do for my clients so that I go into their intake forms and I will download their Calendly or whatever they're using to schedule those strategy or discovery calls. And on those applications, we're asking not only where did we find them from, but also pain points, desires, if you're a health practitioner, symptoms. If you could wave a magic wand and we could do anything in 90 days, what could it be? Getting all of that information and then integrating it into your marketing is a really great way to use AI to synthesize all of that data. Because before, I don't even know how marketers used to do it, like go through and put tick marks down. But it's amazing that you can put 400 leads into AI and then it can kind of give you an overview of who your client avatar is. So if you haven't done that yet, do it. Just make sure you remove your name, the names of your clients from that CSV before you upload it for HIPAA compliance and whatnot.
So then this brings us to our second audit, which is the offer audit. And I was literally just telling Jess that I went through Offer Optimizer Olivia using our assistant in the lab to do this in my business on Friday, because I realized that there was a lot of areas of cannibalization of my traffic and stuff with this. And really, because I had this audit done, gave me this insight to be able to say 100% this is the right move. And I could make it without sitting there second guessing or worrying if I'm cutting specific revenues and all of that. But this one is, I would say, valuable because it really does make such an impact.
Yep. So number one, you're going to want to rank your offers by revenue. So which ones are bringing you the most money, which ones are bringing the least. And then I want you to rank them by effort. So which ones are taking the most amount of your time versus which ones aren't. Even better if you know how many hours it takes for you to deliver that offer, which a lot of people don't. But if you don't, it's a great time to figure out how many hours does it take to actually deliver this offer. And then what you can do is divide your revenue by the hours that it takes to deliver, and you're going to get your revenue to time ratio. And the ones that have the lowest time to effort ratio that give you the most amount of revenue with the least amount of effort are those that might be the ones you want to keep. Unless, caveat here, because we're life first and we do believe that you have to eat a shit sandwich every now and then, but you shouldn't have to when you're delivering your offer every time. If your offer, you absolutely hate to do it, you hate to deliver it, then that cuts it all. So then that's the third column, is how much joy do you get and satisfaction do you get from delivering this offer all the time? For example, I could probably do a lot more or bring in a lot more clients for launch offers, but I'm very selective with that because it takes a lot of time, energy, effort, and I have to do it every once in a while as a big build up. But I couldn't even see myself or the amount of stress that I would have because so much is riding on that, doing this for multiple clients at a time. So that's why that offer, I kind of keep it at a higher price point and, make sure that it's protecting myself from getting my energy drained from delivering an offer that takes so much out of me.
Yeah. And I think so many people realize this when they do this audit, is to realize that, oh, this $10,000 4-month package, my deliverables and my output and my time put into this is paying myself $30 an hour. When if you were to focus more on strategy calls or intensives of some sort, and you're like, oh, that's actually $300 an hour. I have systemized deliverables for this. I can crank it out at the highest value and not be in employee mode with clients because I'm stuck in this container. I think those light bulbs are what is so valuable about doing an offer audit. And then when you also have maybe a smorgasbord of offers and you're trying to customize and a la carte everything, this gives you clarity on saying, yeah, that's not actually the way to operate in your business. I think that's one of the most important parts of this as well.
I think it's so funny how you brought up the almost retainer model because I think especially for, OBMs or what I do, that's kind of the model everyone follows is, oh, you'll have me on retainer so you can tap into me at any time, blah, 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 blah,
Mhm.
blah. There was a time where I had 5 retainer clients and it got to a point where I cannot realistically have my brain in 6 different businesses where I'm supposed to be managing at the same level as almost the business owner, every single person. I don't even know how I used to do that. So then I definitely scaled back. And now the maximum number of retainers I take are 2, maybe 3. And
Yeah.
then I made up that revenue by filling in some of those more project based, very standard deliverable items. And my stress levels have plummeted because a lot of work for your brain.
Yeah. Side note here, I have a whiteboard that I used in my very first year of business where I would write my monthly clients and then kind of like the post-it note launch strategy where people were like, oh, another client on here because it's so old and I never washed it off with my little expo eraser or whatever. It's faded and engraved in where it's 7 clients at full management of their emails. And it was just me. I had no PA or anything like that. And I was like, yeah, I was killing it with the $18,000 months, but was I also brain dead and exhausted and burnt out and stressed and all of those things? 100%. And then when I finally started doing true offer audits is when I was capped at 4, maybe 3, doing strategy sessions because it brings me joy to help people still. And then I need to figure out this part over here. But that doesn't come to you when you're just looking at oh, it makes me a lot of money answer because that's only a fraction of the actual equation here when you're looking at life versus business structures.
Yep. Yep. All right. And then moving into audit number 3, we want to make sure that we're looking at our marketing. So our marketing bridges, our lead magnets, and then also our traffic sources. So I'll let you walk us through a marketing ecosystem magician.
Yeah. So when you're looking at your marketing and traffic audit, there is that effort ratio here, right? You want to look at your traffic sources. So how are people actually finding you? You're breaking this audit into your funnel. So you have your top of funnel. How are people finding you? Are they coming through referrals, social? Do you have a podcast? All of those things. And what's really important here is that we want to be as real as possible. We do not want to assume we know what our actual traffic sources are. And that's important because as we're building out the plan to go forward and make actionable decisions on this, you can't base it off of assumptions. You have to base it off of validation. So then that brings you further into the funnel, and the area that you're going to look at is where are your conversions happening? Are they happening on social still? Are they moving into the email list? Where happening on a lead magnet? Do you have people funneling into that? Where are the actions that somebody's taking after they find you? Is that key? And I can't tell you the amount of businesses that I have been in that do not know their conversion rate. Plain and simple are like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean? You should really know these things. No judgment again.
And ideally, you're looking, when we say conversion rates, we're converting from one step to the other. So convert from social to now they're on their email list. Converts from now they are on your email list to a strategy call. Converts from strategy call to now they are a client. Converts from they're a client to they're in your extension. Each one of those pieces, if you're looking at conversion rates, and you can go in and zoom in on the one that's the lowest, and that's going to show you where you need to create your next project or create your next
Yeah.
effort or initiative around it. Because if I've got a lead magnet that's got amazing conversions but there's nobody going in it, then that means I need to focus on traffic. Or I could have a lead magnet that is converting really, really good where people are signing up for it, but they're never buying anything. That's not doing anything for your business either. So really zeroing in on those different points to figure out where things need to be adjusted and not just looking at a lead magnet or a launch in a whole. We always like to kind of go in and dig a little deeper with those numbers.
Yeah. So then that brings us to our kind of next filter that we're looking at is when we're looking at the channels and where we're putting our time and effort into, are they actually growing, right? Are we looking at traffic sources and saying, okay, this is 200% from the last time I looked at it, or even just looking historically in one sitting, can you see, is it actually increasing, right? Or is it really hogging a lot of your energy? Is this taking up so much time and actually not converting anything? Traffic to next step, interest, engagement, whatever those conversions look like. So then once we have those three areas of visibility, we start to look at what those effort to result ratios are. We're not saying, oh, this is giving me X amount of conversions. We're saying, this is saying I'm putting 5 hours of energy into this and I'm getting what return out. And so then we can look at the whole picture and say, my clients are coming in from this source. I'm spending this much time in this channel, and this is the actual tangibles that are being output from my effort. And this doesn't mean, oh, I post on social media daily and I'm not getting anything out of it. Every channel has its own purpose. Not everything needs to drive revenue. Everything can really connect, and really understanding the goal of each channel is really important as well.
What I think too, when you're looking at stuff too, as long as you're connecting it to a goal, because we have now goals, right? What we need to focus on now for the business we're building now. But I know me and you are both about to do a social media thing. And that's really for the business that we're trying to build towards, to where we have more traffic visibility, all of that, to be able to do more things that are one to many, because you do need to have the right offer fit for the size audience you have as well.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm actually doing, like Jess said, we're doing a lot more on social right now, trying to test ourselves, challenge ourselves a little bit. One of the videos I just put out was really talking about the purpose of your email list. And when I was reflecting and scripting out that video, and it came down to thinking of all of the different reasons that my clients have told me they want to get their email list doing things, or even there are different reasons as to why we want to amplify on social. It is so nuanced into everybody's own personal business life structure. And that literally dictates your strategy. It dictates how you go forward, which is why these three audits layered together, I think, are so important to how you make decisions in your own business. Don't just listen to random strangers on the internet tell you that you need to launch every quarter, that you need to do this or do that, because at the end of the day, your numbers, your insights into your own reality should decide how you move forward and the purpose that you're giving to things versus just spinning your wheels, because that's what this is supposed to tell you is, hey, stop wasting time on this because somebody told you to post 7 times a week. Here's where your actual energy should be put at.
Yeah. And then always just looking at your life too, because there can be really great business advice that's not going to be really good life first business advice. For example, I had a client who this year they had been running their business off of just one huge launch a year. And he got the advice to break it. And we're going to do monthly cohorts every single year. And then when we got to breaking it down and what that would take energy wise from us, from him, from the team, this is not sustainable with the life and the values that this company holds. So we kind of pivoted and went back to 3 times a year versus once a year. So that's why this reflection part is so important, because it's about looking inward at your real numbers, at your real being, at your real current state of life underneath it all, and being really honest with yourself about what you want to do and maximizing the amount of revenue that you can make without sacrificing those values that you want to do.
All right, let's tie this all together because I know we went on layers here. These 3 audits, they all build upon each other. The client audit, who actually lit you up? Where did they come from? How do we find more of those people and not just more clients, is the answer in that audit. The second one is the offer audit. Revenue next to effort. How do we grow those kind of really enjoyable, profitable offers? And how do we fix or either retire the ones that are draining our energy and undercutting our value from an hourly perspective? Then that third audit is the marketing and traffic audit. Which channels are growing versus which channels that are hogging your time? Where do you want to spend your limited hours so that you can really talk to the people that are doing and taking the actions that you want? So those 3 layers, you don't need a whole new strategy. Ultimately, pivoting and changing everything in a whiplash kind of direction isn't great for your business. How do we look at these 3 areas of our business, find the overlap, make the decisions with more intention, and give you that clear look forward at what's already working and what's actually killing your time.
So we do have the Rooted in Reality. It's a paid Notion guide that kind of walks you through our 3-step planning process, which includes this, which is the assess step, and then it brings you through align and act. But also we've been working on a new free item for you to help you do this, and that is going to be the Life First Business Audit. It's a quick assessment. It's going to take about 2 to 3 minutes for you to complete it, and it's going to show you where your biggest gaps are right now and the moves to make in your business next. And it's also going to give you access to our Life First business coach, Lainey, who is going to really help you go through and diagnose some of these things, and so that you can help figure that out itself. Eventually, the planner and the lab might work together a little better, but that's what we've got for now. So they're both very useful, and we would both use them for planning.
Yeah, so this episode hit home in a little bit of areas, and maybe somebody else in your business life might feel the same. Send it to a business bestie, someone that you know has been working twice as hard on the areas that probably aren't moving a lot of things. Share it with her. Find us on Instagram or on TikTok. Tell us which audit you're either most excited to run or which one's kind of going to terrify you because it's going to give you a lot of visibility into the gaps. And yeah, we read every comment, every message, everything that you guys send over. Until next week,
We're rooting for you.